Hello, everyone, and welcome to Off the Wall. I'm Sol, and I got Josh here with me today. Josh,
Woo!
we're going on some biopic journey, but this time our stop is in France
False.
with Napoleon.
Yeah. Actually, as a person who is 5'8", I did, as a person, just as a short king, as they say these days, the OG short king, Napoleon, literally, even actually, if you look at historically, he was an emperor, which he was like, I am, and people are like, okay, if you didn't know that. Little fun fact for you, not to spoil it, but he did pretty well for his life.
Spoiler for history.
Yeah, it's just read a book. But no, I'm interested to see how this movie pans out. I did a huge study for him in 7th grade. I'm now 36, so you can do the math. I forgot a lot. But so I'm interested to see what they get right, what they get wrong, and what they just over Hollywood it in this thing. But I like the casting of Joaquin Phoenix. He's not like the first time he's played an emperor or Caesar, or for those gladiator fans out there. But yeah, I'm interested to see this. About yourself?
Yeah. And another Ridley Scott directed film. He last did The Last Duel and House of Gucci. Both came out in 2021. I liked both of those movies. I know you didn't see either of them, but they were cool. It was funny because Ridley Scott said, "Oh, these millennials and Gen Z aren't watching good films. They're watching Marvel movies." I was like, "I watched the last 2 of your movies and liked it. Calm down, old man." But let's watch this trailer for Napoleon.
All right. Trailer for the trailer.
Look at that crown.
I know, right? You will be back.
It's an Apple film.
I doubt you'll send the chaos in the streets.
I don't know when the French Revolution. This might be French Revolution era.
We must make an example, or France will fall.
The way that was thrown on
Like
her.
Mary Magdalene.
What would you do?
That makes no sense.
Assignment of defense.
Very cinematic there.
Definitely revolution.
I promise you brilliant successes.
I know him.
Everyone.
Yeah. First time he's been with Joaquin
What
Phoenix.
is this costume you have on?
This is my uniform.
Everyone so near.
I led the French victory at Toulon.
I like Vanessa Kirby.
Yep.
What is your name?
Even in Hobbs and Shaw.
Napoleon.
Yeah, same.
My life just changed. Napoleon.
I am destined for greatness. But those in power.
Him just trying to control the world.
He's a conqueror.
I
That's what he was.
suggest you take the throne as a
King.
holding on.
Shall we vote?
This vermin has held the world hostage with his egotism and his lack of simple good manners.
He was an adulterer. How dare he? People were so just.
I think you're great.
People in power slept around. When did that happen?
It is nothing without me.
All of Europe is uniting forces against me.
What's the outcome of this if you don't succeed?
Your Majesty, we are discovered. Good.
One thing by Ridley Scott, he knows how to direct
I'm
action.
the first to admit
It's a
that
trap.
I simply never do.
That's kind of cool how they actually just immediately highlighted the writer in that last little title card. That was different. Typically, it's either produced and Jerry Bruckheimer and then the director. But they pretty I think Peter Scarpa was that what I saw there?
David Scarpa.
David Scarpa. Sorry, my apologies, David Scarpa. I know you're on strike right now. Fight's
He's
good fight.
also the writer for Gladiator 2 when if that comes out with the writer's strike. Did 3 episodes of The Man in the High Castle. Wrote All the Money in the World. So he seems to, yeah, his very few works that he's done, most of them have been with Ridley Scott.
Yeah,
So
but say that's probably why, because he's Ridley Scott's like, no, he needs to be with me in the title card, because they're kind of like a 1-2 punch.
yeah, you give your thoughts first on this Napoleon trailer.
Well, so I thought Ridley Scott knows how to direct set pieces. I mean, it's as far as
Yes.
action set pieces, you get the feel, you get it's going to be. I'm just worried that they're going to Oscar/ham it up a little too much. Just kind of what I got from it.
Yeah.
Whereas from other trailers that I've seen from biopics, like they were really forcing like it's gonna be epic, but then every scene I need to talk to you and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And it's kind of got that feel from it for just just a second here and there. But I'm still very intrigued, obviously, for someone who's studied this historical figure and known he was a conqueror. That's what he was. I mean, I think he was the biggest conqueror since. I mean, obviously, like Alexander, Genghis Khan, but like he was on that path of like he did some work, as you saw, like of all the places that he went from France to Egypt, right?
Yeah.
So and that's
Tried to
legit.
go into Russia twice. Failed.
Spoiler alert, but that's kind of where the cold is where it ended. So, but anyway,
It always ends in Russia.
and then he got
doesn't it?
outcast to some other island, but we're not going to talk about that. You can just watch the movie, guys. Okay. But no, Josephine.
2
He was mad
islands.
of all the books that I've read. He was madly in love with Josephine. He wasn't like 5'2" or anything like that. He was like 5'6", 5'8". If you go on the internet, he was like 5'6", which is really was the average male height at the time, and even today, the average male height's like 5'8". So it's not like he was a short person at that point. And then just a little historical thing, he might do it when he puts his hand in his coat. People thought he was doing that because he had the Trump hands and small hands, or whatever. No, he did that is because that was the type of like he was supposed to be aristocratic or something like that. Like that was more of the posh or like the style to show that you are upper echelon and how you carried yourself.
I will agree with you. It seems very hammed up a little. The set pieces, the kind of just the look of it looks amazing. Ridley Scott makes pretty films.
Yes, he does.
Where like you just see the cinematography, the way everything's set up, just the landscape. It's always going to look beautiful when it comes to Ridley Scott. So obviously that looks great. But watching him, like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll see this because Joaquin Phoenix, and I like the last 2 Ridley Scott movies. But I don't know. It gave me a little feel of, I don't know if you saw The Green Knight with Dev Patel, which that also in the trailers and in the movie, the landscape, the cinematography was awesome. But the movie was kind of a dud.
Yeah, because people were hyping it up, and then it just came and went. So I was like, all right, I guess.
It looked great, but the movie to me wasn't very good. Bogz liked it. I did not. So I'm kind of getting a little bit of that feeling from this trailer. But hopefully it's one of those where the trailer's not as good. It looks pretty, but like doesn't feel good, if that makes sense. But the movie is much better. So that's what I'm hoping for.
I know we were sitting there talking about David Scarpa the whole time at the beginning of it, and then we're just sitting here crapping on him the whole time, saying that the kind of the way that was written and stuff, at least the dialogue was pretty hammy. We're like, shout out to him for picketing. By the way, the script doesn't sound very good, but dude. Hey man, he makes more money than we do. So
I mean, the hammy is not just from dialogue; it's also from the acting, and the direction that Ridley Scott gives those actors. So it's not just going on David Scarpa; it's going on Ridley
and plus
Scott
the
as
French
well.
were very nose in the air. I'm better than you, and I've met some French people. They're kind of the same little, I'm better than you.
My last name is French.
Yeah. Well, Mabry technically is derivative of French, so at least that's what I've been told. I haven't really researched it, but But typically, French people are kind of douchey. They think they're better than you, and that's just kind of how that's. I mean, if you go and for people that have gone to France and Paris, that's kind of how they are. They just think that their lifestyle is just better than you, and they're just better than you because they're French. And so maybe that's how now it's presented here is that they're just better than everyone. Which of course Napoleon was very good at what he did. Like I said, with Genghis Khan, Alexander, Napoleon, they were good at conquering. I mean, that's pretty much what they were. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude was big enough I mean, he stretched as far as he possibly could, and then they ended up in Russia, and then it all goes to if you read your history book, everyone ends in Russia because they can't just the Russian winners. No one can no.
I would like to say though, I did meet some very lovely French people when I was in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, so not all French people are.
Okay, good, because the only ones that I have a very small sample, so I'm not. I did take a French class. My French teacher was fine, but of the other 20 that I met at a Steak and Shake at 2:00 in the morning, wasn't very nice.
It was probably because you were at a Steak and Shake, but
Hey, you know what Steak and Shake I'm talking about at 2:00 in the morning.
yes, I do. I've been to that Steak and Shake plenty of times. Shout out Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah.
But this has been Off the Wall. My name is Sol. That's Josh. We've gone a little off the rails, but it is what it is.
It's off the wall.
See
It's
you
what we
next
do.
time.